Yo, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, man, we're gonna talk about a topic that I've been asked about quite a bit. If it's your first time on the channel, you can go back and look at some of the other videos. You'll notice that I've had different wraps on my Camaro, aka Optimus Prime. I've gone through different phases. I started out where the car is satin pearl white, then it went to satin black, then it went to chrome blue, and now it's on a custom printed wrap. Enough talking, we're just gonna get right into the video. Let's go. Alright, look, so right off the bat, you know, people said, would you rather have a custom paint job on your car, or would you rather have a custom wrap on your car? Pros and cons. There's definitely pros and cons in both of those scenarios, both of those situations. Obviously, if I'm gonna start with the custom paint, let's start with that first. Starting out with custom paint, it's always a good thing because you don't have to remove it. That's number one. It's always gonna have that advantage because once you paint the car that color, whatever the color it is, or whatever custom design you do on the car, then that's it. That's just what it is. So you don't have to worry about anything bubbling up or anything like that. Obviously, assuming that the person who paints the car for you knows what they're doing. Obviously, if they're doing custom paint jobs like that, where you got all kinds of different designs going on and stuff like that in the paint, then you shouldn't get any, you know, bubbles later on and stuff like that, because if they don't prep the paint right, or the, you know, the car right, the body right, then it could end up bubbling up later on in certain areas from the heat. So with the paint job, it's always going to be nice because of that advantage where you don't have to sit there and remove it, depending on how many years you've had it on, as opposed to like a wrap where you have it on for such a period of time and then afterwards you end up removing it. But with a paint job, that's it. You paint it and it's good to go. Number two, another nice thing about having that paint job is once you put that ceramic coating on there, which a lot of people do nowadays, you put ceramic coating all over your car, you know, you can get the top of the line version where, you know, you'd be about 10 years, I believe it is, 10 years where, you know, as soon as you pour water on it, it'll just fall right off, or if there's dirt on it, it'll wipe right off. If there's, you know, from the birds doing their thing on your car, you just spray it. You don't have to fight it and stuff like that. You just wipe right off and it comes off, so that way you don't leave any swirl marks or anything like that, you know, when you're you know, wiping down your paint. So it's always going to have that advantage when it comes to that with the paint. I cannot take that away from it. Now, would I rather have a paint job as opposed to a wrap? Man, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I probably would rather have a paint job, to be honest with you. Only because if I'm picking a specific color for the car and that's what I'm rolling with, then I would be golden, because at that point I don't got to worry about removing this wrap and redoing it all over again. You know, to me personally, between all four of my wraps that I've had, this by far is my favorite. It has way too much detail in it, and to be honest with you, on the wrap itself, that's a $7,000 wrap because it has laminate on top of it, it has the ceramic coating on top of it, and the materials Avery, plus it's a custom one-of-one design. There is no other one literally like this in the world. Now, if I did this on a paint job, that's a whole different story, because you do this on paint, you're talking like $25,000, because there's so much custom detail in this wrap, which I'll walk you guys through here in a second. That would take a long time for them to sit here and make all this right here, to design it all out. So on the other hand, you know, I wouldn't really mind having that wrap, because sometimes you want to switch things up. Now if you have it on a paint job version, you're not switching anything up, because that's an expensive paint job. That's the price of the car, to be honest with you. But you know, when it's a wrap, you know, and this thing lasts about 3 to 5 years, depending on, you know, how you keep yours garage kept or not, you know, then that's a whole different story. You know, you'll have an opportunity to go ahead and switch it up if you wanted to. But on paint, if you get one rock chip on that front, here's the downside. You get one rock chip. Let me show you guys the car while I'm explaining it. You get one rock chip on the car in the front or something like that, or if over here something happens, then, you know, you have to get this whole thing repainted, which will cost an arm and a leg. Or if on the front bumper, you have to get that repainted, which is an arm and a leg. It's not cheap doing it with the wrap either, but at least with the wrap, you can literally just get it printed one more time and then lay the wrap back on the car, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about if they're gonna make these lines exactly the same like they were before. Is it gonna be faded right here exactly like it was made before? You don't have to worry about any of that when you're doing paint. Now, as we work our way around through here, I want to show you guys, there's so much detail that's in this wrap. This, to be honest with you, right here, if you notice the separation between, so up front, these are all of the mechanical parts that are inside Optimus Prime's body. That's what all this is. These are all mechanical parts that are on Prime's body, right? And then it works its way through the wrap. See that? You see shocks, gears, and stuff like that in there. And then when you come around, you can see it work itself around right there. What we did was, imagine getting that right there painted. That would literally be ridiculously expensive. I mean, this wrap ain't cheap, but imagine getting that painted. And what I mean by that is, if you look up close, it doesn't just have a gray outline over here. There's a fade that comes around that goes all the way through, and then there's an outline with a shadow that goes all the way through. Then if you point up, there's a 3D effect right above that, plus all these little dots that are inside the wrap. Imagine all of that getting painted just to make this design right here. And then the gears on the side with the hoses, you see the lines right there. And then it has the flames under it, which, like I said, we can keep going with this. All these little designs, look at this. All those little designs. Imagine getting all that painted on the car. That would be a beautiful paint job. First of all, I am not gonna lie. If I could, I would. You know, that would be an amazing paint job to do. But I went the other route, which was with going with the wrap. Look at this. Just to point these out to you guys. So you got dark right here, dark in this area as it gets darker, and then when you work your way around, it gets a little bit lighter, and then that's where it goes all the way through the gears. Now, even up here, look at the attention to detail. Look at this. Like, imagine making these, having your guy paint all these little spots right here, these little white marks, right? And then when you go over to the roof of the car, that's where it shows the Autobot logo. That's why I tell you guys, it's much more simple for them to sit here and create something like this and lay the wrap on top of the car, and then you can just, something ever happened to this, then you get this piece right here replaced, and they'll just lay the same exact vinyl or the same exact print right there on that spot. Now, it also depends on the person who's doing your wrap too, because, you know, I would assume that person has it where they've designed the wrap and they got it by panels, right? So if you ever needed just the flare right here for the wide body, then they're going to print that out only, because it connects to the flame right here. See that? Then it works its way around into the body of the car. So, I mean, there's too much detail. And everywhere you look on the wrap, I'm serious, no lie, there's going to be something different. Everywhere you look on the wrap, there's going to be something different. So I absolutely love it. You know, I've thought about it, like, what else can I possibly do to top this wrap? You know, I mean, it literally works its way through. Look right there. So what's cool about it is when you open the hood, it's like Prime's face, right? But then, and this is pretty sick too right here, if you guys could see that, and it's like Prime's face right here, and then it just for some reason goes into the wrap where it's different, where that's like his centerpiece of his chest, where it separates. And then right here, when you open the doors and then they go up, that's like the exhaust pipes that are sticking out from the side. Now, when we talk about the wrap, would I rather have a wrap than paint job instead of a paint job than a wrap? Would I rather have a wrap than a paint job? It depends on my situation, on what I need that wrap for. If I'm the type of person that likes to switch things up because I know I'm not going to get too crazy, like this is the most that I've ever, most expensive wrap that I've ever put on the car, right? But if I'm the type of person where, like I started in the beginning, where they were just solid wraps, where it was satin pearl white, satin black, chrome blue. Chrome blue is expensive also. Depending who installs that, that could be $5,000-$6,000. And it depends if you put laminate on top of it, ceramic coating on top of that. all of that stuff adds up. So if I was just doing those regular swaps, then I'd probably just say, you know what, let's just pick a color that's sick on the car, so that way we don't got to worry about it, and then just paint it, and then we'd be good to go. And you can always get just that color, right? But when you're making a design, that's where it makes it extremely difficult. Now, the downside of having a wrap is the fact that you could get bubbles depending on the prepping that they did under the car. And what I mean by that is, if you have dirt that's under there and they don't clay bar the car and wash it in clay bar and all that stuff, like they prep it and get it ready before they lay the wrap, you can have issues with the wrap peeling in certain corners. If the wrap is just laid like right here and then they just cut it off right there instead of folding it in and then cutting some from the inside, then you're gonna have issues because they use a heat gun when they lay the wrap. So if it's hot outside like it does get here in Arizona, it gets to 115, 120, then what's going to happen is the heat's going to attract to this and it's going to pull the wrap back. And if it does that, that's when you start seeing, you know, the body lines of the car, the paint of the car. So if the person that's wrapping your car is really good at it, then they'll catch on to all that and they won't go the cheap route. To me, that's going the cheap route. I mean, you have the vinyl already there. Just cut it a little bit longer. I don't see why they wouldn't do that, right? You know, having those bubbles, that's a downfall. Having to remove it, that's a downfall. I mean, to be honest with you, my other wraps, I've only kept them on here for about a year each one. This one right here so far is the longest one that I've kept on. You know, I mean, there's even right here into the vents, it was designed out all the way through with the glass. I mean, if that little opening right there wasn't there, the print would have went all the way through. Like I said, you guys, and I broke this up. Obviously, my mirrors are white under here, but I broke it up and I told them just wrap it in gloss black. There's ceramic coating on that too. There's also, like I said earlier, there's ceramic coating on top of the whole car. So you guys, to sum things up, to answer you guys this question, a lot of people had messaged me and asked me on my Instagram, Snapchat, even TikTok. They're commenting everywhere. YouTube, people have been asking me for the longest time, you know, would you ever paint prime and just do it like the way it is? Absolutely. My answer to that question is absolutely, because I would love to just keep this design, finish this build, and it's good to go. We can move on to the next build here in the near future. But in this case, I already know that I have some little areas that have bubbled up just a little bit, and they're the edges and corners, because it is extremely hard. It is extremely difficult to wrap the front bumper of a Camaro. I don't know why, and on top of that, that's the ZL1 bumper. So yeah, go figure. If I had a choice, I'd rather paint it, but I ain't trying to drop no $25,000 on a paint job where I can use that down, and that's half the price of the ZL1, a used ZL1. So I'd rather just get the car and get it over with. But this right here, I'd rather just continue my sponsorship, you know, doing my thing with all my sponsors. Still, this being an expensive wrap, just because you sponsored doesn't mean you're getting it for free or anything like that. It's still very expensive. But either way, you know, I'd rather just grind it out and do what I gotta do. So hopefully this video answered you guys' questions, gave you a little bit more of an overview, so that way you can decide what you want to do. If you want to paint the car and you know that's the color that you're going to stick with for quite some time, I would just say don't wrap it, just paint the car. So that way, just save up. Save up, do what you gotta do, save up, be patient. Even if you have to wait another 6 months till you get the rest of the money, save up for that 6 months and then just paint the car. But if you feel like you're the type that'll get bored of that design, then I would recommend wrapping the car, because then you can always remove it, and when you remove the wrap, you look at the original paint, you're like, oh my god, I miss looking at my car like that. It kind of refreshes the, you know, the memory and resets the clock. So that way you get used to the original paint with all of your modifications now that you have on the car, and then later on you can always upgrade it and do it again and pick a different design like I did and go through all these different colors. So if it's your first time on my page, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up. It definitely helps out the channel. Leave me a comment down below if you're going to be getting a wrap anytime soon on your car, or are you thinking about doing a custom paint job, especially when I walked you through all the details in prime. So in the meantime, between time, I'll catch you guys on the next video. A Dilla Priminator out. Peace.